if you look at this go-to-market technology ecosystem as a whole, you had companies solving different types of problems. You had the Gons and the outreaches, and you had Clary. And as AJ mentioned, as you said as well, over the last couple of years, but especially in the last 12 or so months, we've noticed that everybody has decided that they need to provide more value. They need to provide more value to their customers, for which they need to solve more problems for their customers, broaden the solutions out, become more like platform. You guys were really well suited for that because of your original starting point. I think it's much harder for an outreach to be like, let us become your system of record, than Clary from their starting off point to say, let us become your system of record. So I think there's a lesson in there as to pick the right starting off point if you are trying to become a platform down the line. But now a lot of collaborators have become competitors, and the landscape looks really different. Part of this is, as you guys said, this addressable market that we can sell into. We are trying to expand that out. The challenge with that is that if you think of companies in manufacturing and supply chain, etc., when people originally do their TAM analysis, they assume that these buyers buy the same way, that they're going to be just as excited about call recording as a tech company was excited about call recording. It's just really, really different. And so can you click into the downstream effects from an execution perspective? Like, as you guys have broadened who you sell into, what have been some of the challenges you've had to address internally to be able to do that really well? Moving from a solution selling to moving from a point solution sale to more of a platform sale, and B, in selling to people in all these different verticals that have different personalities, different needs, different wants, different levels of awareness of all of this stuff. How has that been?
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, a lot of questions within that
Yeah.
question. So maybe we'll jump around into it. I think
You have your whole go-to-market framework? You're just going to show like
Hunter, I'm going to share my screen. So when you think about all these companies, right, public, private, etc., essentially their leaders and their board all have the same problem, right? Which is, are we going to meet, beat, or miss on revenue? At the end of the day, that's what they all care about, right? As they report to Wall Street, or they report to their investors, or whoever they're backed. And so they all have the same challenges that tech companies have. Now, how they run their revenue processes to achieve that is different and evolving. And so at Clari, we've always thought about revenue as a process. And it's made up of all these moments that happen throughout the organization at all levels: rep level, manager level, executive, supporting cast, so all revenue critical employees. And each of those moments is really part of a cadence, and a cadence that has to be done and run well to achieve those results. And so what we found, in our time in tech, right, is tech had a lot of rigor in how it ran its revenue cadences, because it was really about growth and taking advantage of opportunity as quickly as it could because of changing technologies in the background. Oh, by the way, life sciences is very similar, right? You got a new technology, you got to take it to market fast, and you got to beat before something becomes generic. And so we see those patterns, of tech now evolving in other industries. What's happened in this space, especially in tech, is there's been all these new solutions that have come to market to help salespeople be more effective. And in the good times, companies bought everything. And so you'd find that they'd have 2 and 3 solutions to manage just little one-off, like point problems.
Yeah.
And what's really started to happen is companies want to deal with one partner, and they want a platform. And so I think I'm getting to the next part of your question here. And what we think we did really well at Clari is we solved the hard thing first, which was the creation of the revenue database. So it's a in-memory, real-time, time series-based database with a bidirectional real-time integration into the CRMs. And it's bringing that data plus everything else that's happening around you in the enterprise together, and it's snapshotting it. That snapshotting allows us to use AI and machine learning to help the human essentially predict where they're going with the revenue. And that's what allowed us to now start to do acquisitions of things that have kind of become somewhat commoditized.
Yeah.
Call recording, sales engagement, and others. And so the category of what has traditionally been revenue intelligence, and a bunch of other things is coming together. And we feel like we're well positioned to be that platform for our customers. Why? Our CROs want one place to have command and control over their business, and our reps, who are the CEOs or owners of their franchise, want one place where they can drive their business and be accountable for their business. And so those things, and the macroeconomic environment are changing it. And I think that the last thing that's changing it is, if you really want to apply AI, and having one platform and one curated data set to apply it against makes a lot more sense than all this
100%.
disconnected, separate things.